Hi everybody. This video is in response to subscriber Frankie Barrett's request that I make a video on how to tailor your shirt larger instead of smaller. And especially since what's going on, in the world right now, and we're having to stay home a lot, this is actually a pretty good time to put this out because some of us might be putting on some pounds, maybe not a lot, but every little bit can make a difference in your clothes. So Frankie was asking about a gusset, and this is not a gusset. This is just enlarging your shirt, but it takes a certain shirt. You can't do it on a serged side seam, but you can do it on a flat felled seam. But I'll show you that in the pictures. So let's get started. Okay, before we get started on disassembling everything, I want to measure this because I want to see how much extra room we're going to get out of this by doing this alteration. This is, let me see, try not to stretch anything, about 28 and 3/8 across. So I wanted to explain something though. On this alteration, it's only going to work with a shirt that has the flat felled seam. If there's a serged edge in here, it's not going to work. So the first thing we're going to do is take out this hem a little bit just on either side of the side seam. And make sure you don't mess up your shirt, because on one of my other shirts I just totally jacked it up. Luckily it doesn't belong to anybody, so it's fine. So I'm going to let this out. It's just this much because I'm not taking it up, so I'm letting it out, so I don't need to take out the hem very far on each side. Then we're going to jump over to the cuff, and we're going to do the same thing. We're going to separate the shirt from the cuff just a little bit on either side of that side seam. And I feel like I just cut the shirt. But like I said, the shirt doesn't belong to anybody. So if you're doing it on your shirt, you need to be more careful than I am on my shirt. Okay, so it's taken apart from there. Now, in case I don't address this later because I forget when I'm working, when you take this out, you're going to have extra fabric and it's going to be too much to put in here. So after you take all this out, you're going to have to taper this back to this original width. But I'll hopefully remember to show you all that. So now I want you to take out these side seams. Now, I don't know if it's going to work from this side or the other side. Okay, I think it's going to work from this side. Let's hope. Man, it is so hot here. And I can't turn my fan on because it'll be too much background noise. Come on, there we go. If you catch that right thread, makes things so much easier. Okay, now I'm gonna have to turn it inside out. Nice. Okay, go ahead and open it up. You don't need to worry about keeping it together. Now take it to your ironing board, and on both sides you're going to iron this flat. Just press it flat from the hem to the sleeve or the cuff on both sides. Okay, when you're finished ironing your shirt flat on those seam allowances, go ahead and match up your underarm seams and put a pin there. And then go ahead and pin at the cuff. And remember, we needed to have this the same width as the cuff. So we're going to, you can see where the cuff is here, and we're going to pin the shirt in that area so that we'll remember. Okay, and from here, we'll just put pins in just to hold them in place. Because it's a straight line, you won't need to have them very close together. And then of course, make sure your hem matches up. There. Now what we're going to do is take it to the machine, and we are going to sew from here where you marked that it's going to meet up correctly with the cuff, and then we're going to taper it out to 1/4 inch all the way down to the hem. Okay, you can see where the cuff fold meets up with the shirt. So you're going to start there. You're going to taper out. If you don't need all the extra room, you can go ahead and come in a little bit until you need that extra width, and then you taper back out to 1/4 inch from the raw edge. So it looks like it'll start right in the middle of that purple line. And I'm going to use a straight stitch, and my length is 2.5. Just make sure that the edges are matched up here, and that when you taper out to where you need the fullness of the shirt or sleeve, that it either aligns with the edge of the presser foot or the 1/4 inch mark. They're very close though. Okay, you can see some threads right here. If you have a serger, go ahead and serge that edge. It'll trim this off and finish the edges. If you don't have a serger, you can just take a pair of scissors and trim this off, and then go over with a zigzag. So this one doesn't have too many of these little hairs or these threads, so you can just trim them off like this, and then use the zigzag here. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Just a little zigzag to keep that edge on there. Now, if you want that look on the outside of your shirt, like it's the flat felled seam, you can go ahead and press the seam to one side, and then go back over it from the right side. Let's do it on this side. So you're pressing the seam allowance to one side, and then you can just go over it with a straight stitch. And just be aware of where the side seam matches up with your presser foot, because you can't see the throat plate. Or if there's enough seam allowance, you can go over the previous holes, which it doesn't work here because the seam allowance is too small. So you can just go over it like this. And this is a mock flat felled seam. I am not going to do all of it, but basically that's what it is, and you'll take it all the way to the cuff. Now on the shirt that I'm working on, it's really not going to make a difference. You can't see it anyway. So it's just top stitching along this edge right here. So if you want to do that, then just go ahead and continue from hem to cuff. And then here, you can see, let me clean up these threads. Okay, you can see how it just naturally wants to fold in. So you press your seam allowance to one side, the first fold there, the second fold, and you're just going to stitch over that with a straight stitch, ending or starting where the previous stitch ends. You're going to start there and go all the way to the other side where it picks up again. Now we're going over to the cuff. Okay, I like to work from the right side of the sleeve because I want to see what it's going to look like from the right side. So there's our opening, and remember I said you needed to start it where that cuff fold is. There's my stitching line right there where that little loop of thread is. So press that to one side. Sorry about that. Tuck your fabric back inside your cuff. And it goes in there pretty nicely. This is the side seam right here. Do a little back stitch. And that's it. That is really that easy. Just clean up your threads. When you're finished, you might want to go back and go over it with the iron again. But this is the seam that we just worked on. It went back in there very nicely. You can see the previous stitches. So that's all you have to do on that. And let's see how many inches we gained. Okay, I did one sleeve on camera, or one side on camera and the other side off camera. And so now I'm going to do the measurement and see what kind of a difference we have. We started out with 28 3/8, and now the shirt measures at 29. So 28 3/8 inches times 2, because the front and the back is 56.75. Now it's 29. 29 times 2, both sides, is 58. So that is 1 1/4 inch difference. So if you put on a lot of weight, obviously this is not going to do a whole lot of good. But if things are getting a little snug and you don't want that, this would work. And if you doubt what a difference an inch will make, try putting on a pair of pants that are an inch too small. So for a lot of weight, you probably will need the gusset, and I will do a video on that. But for the time being, if things are getting a little snug, this might be a way for you to take care of that. So I hope you like this video. Give it a thumbs up if you do. If you're not subscribed to my channel, consider subscribing. And don't forget to hit the bell so you're notified when I upload more videos. Thank you. Bye.